Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. I am Cracked Palantir, also known as Kevin Manus Pinnings. I'm your host and game master for the night. We are joined and blessed by the presence of
Blessed.
our player Max, who is joining us for episode 4 of Brise's Tale, and he is playing Brise.
That is all accurate statements.
All accurate statements.
I can argue with you there.
Despite my history of lying. So we were talking about me trying to fix my mic because we lost an adjuster knob to one of the joints on my mic stand, and it turns out they're really hard to replace. So that we have one option that we haven't checked out yet, which is music stores may have replacement knobs. But Micro Center didn't have any. Best Buy didn't have any, and so, you know what? I take that back. I called the Guitar Center. They don't have any, so I'm stuck buying online, which was really pricey. It was like ridiculous. It was like $10 for like 1 bolt or 2 bolts. I forget which. So it was really bad. So, you know what? While we're waiting on people to join us, I am going to post these as you have suggested, Max. So we figured out, everybody. We had a problem, you may recall, with some of the links not working to character notes and things like that. And what it turns out is that the posts are just too long. So we're going to break them up. So there you see Max's notes for his character. That's his character sheet. And then here's his personality and our link to our donate site. And that is up now. And so feel free to let us know if those don't work or anything.
I'll go check that right now too.
But if you can always donate and make us happy and help keep us streaming. And but you can also look at his personality, his character sheet, and his and the notes from his past explorations. I don't really use the word campaign. There is no such thing as really a campaign. Who in this world, in any fantasy world, would call it a campaign? So I try to avoid that word. I try to avoid any word that takes you out of the world.
The links look good, by the way, on YouTube. So they're not
fantastic.
Off. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, all right. Well, that'll be our new deal then. Is I'll do that from now on, and I've got that saved in a Word document where I can just drop that and keep going. So,
righto.
But anyway, so I'm just gonna have to buy online and get replacement things. I can't believe I lost it like in the first freaking week. So ridiculous. But
maybe it's because you kept getting up really close to the mic like this, and
I do love that. That's right. This is my crooner. Boo 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 boo. I love doing that. It makes me laugh so hard because I'm not musical.
R.I.P. headphone users.
That's right. How's your head doing now, fellas? Ladies? Also those who self-identify in a way that is somewhat beyond my experience, but I still respect. But anyway. Anyway, for those I have gently and lovingly mocked, if you take offense, that's probably a result of you listening. So fix that. Just turn us on mute, and then everything else is really enjoyable.
If only you could mute you. You have to mute the game master.
The game master, right? Just mute a separate one. We need a special function. So we're all doing well. We're all excited. I apologize for having to cancel last night's stream. Like I said, some of the donate to keep us streaming money is also donate to fix my head. My wife just talked to my neurologist today for her own reasons, and the doctor's like, well, how's Kevin doing? Oh, really? That's really interesting. I need to see him again. So it was kind of funny. So,
So it's 7:05 now, so I still only see not too many viewers yet, but we can get started, I think, with the
Yeah, all right.
recap and synopsis and everything.
That's fine. Last week was fairly exciting, though admittedly social. It was fairly exciting. Do you want to handle the recap there, buddy, or shall I do it?
Yeah, I can. I can do it. I just need to find where we started the session. I think I met Lashwin. Did I?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, because that's right. Because you.
Right. Okay. So we started last session with talking about the research that I found out in the old elf Olden's library on botanical knowledge, and I found some interesting tidbits, but nothing too pertinent to kind of what I was studying. And then started the next day in his manor, had some breakfast, and went out of there because I need to meet with. Was arranged a meeting with a friend of Adabir, who's been helping me out with the current situation I find myself in, which has to do with the demon Kralum. He's been looking into how we can possibly free and send the demon back to its own world, investigating how we could break those bonds and locate where he is, where the demon is.
Right, because all we know right now is that Kralum in his true form is this enormous sort of half scorpion, half spider of enormous size, is chained with these massive enchanted chains. He's chained, imprisoned over the mouth of a volcano. And being an ice demon, we realize now that is in part such that he has to use a tremendous amount of his power just staying alive.
Right.
And so if we can find him and break those chains, Kralum will be cast back to his realm, and this ancient evil named Verilag, the only reason she has tremendous power is because she is siphoning it from this demon. And so if they can find the volcano and free Kralum, that's the ultimate goal, because then Brise will be free of her clutches, and we'll go into that more as is needed.
Sorry. Though the reason I went to see Adabir on that particular occasion was to meet a friend of his named Lashwin, who's actually a experienced portal caster, and for the possibility of, rather than go through all that nonsense with freeing Kralum, why don't I simply skip town and go to another dimension, another world where I'm beyond Verilag or Kralum's influence? And that was the plan for that meeting. A lot of stuff went down. Generally, as we were all kind of keeping secrets from one another, and I let an important detail slip about Verilag and about the importance of this
meeting.
The importance of this meeting, how the true gravity of it, which was a lot less than Lashwin kind of expected or was ready to get into. So
yeah, it was clear that in the course of the meeting, sort of holes in your story appeared to Lashwin.
Yeah.
And Lashwin's like, I don't understand why you're so intent on leaving right now.
Right. That's what it was. Yeah.
And because they're trying to hide the fact from everyone that they can, that Verilag and Kralum are involved in this, because anyone who learns about it, their lives may be in danger. Verilag may simply slay them. So in the course of the discussion, Brise, well, let's be honest, it was Max. Let's be honest. Max is responsible for...
No, that was on purpose, Kevin. That was me being in character. I'm like, you know what? Brise should slip up. I think he could make a mistake.
That's right. That's true.
I'm do such a thing.
It's true role playing. It's when you're willing to make a mistake. And so in the course of the discussion, in an attempt to convince Lashwin that that this is as important as they need it to be. Um, Brise says, well, there are thousands of lives at stake because we really do believe that if Verlag rises to power and her power continues to increase, that she will enslave neighboring nations. That she will have that much power. She will have that much both political pull and direct power to lead to sort of rebuilding her empire. But of course, neither Adabir's daughter, Felagel, or Lashwan had been told any of this, and they were all shocked. Felagel, we have to remember that Adabir is extremely old, bedridden most of the day, and Felagel is extremely protective. And Felagel flipped out and said, "You are obviously entangling my frail father in things that you should not." And then threw Brise and Lashwan out of the house. And then Lashwan says, outside, Lashwan says something to the effect that Adabir is a good man, but he's a little bit cutthroat. I mean, he will do what he thinks is right. And, you and I have been roped into that. And she rides off, willing still, though, to help Brise transport to another world. And Brise, hoping to sneak back into the house at some point, bribes the young groomsman who brought Lashwan her horse, bribes this young man to let him know whenever Felagel is out of the house for any length of time, so that maybe they can continue discussions
between Adabir and me.
Yeah. So
So
Brise is now outside the house. Burra has walked back to his duties. You have started walking out, down the path or whatever, sort of considering your options and thinking. So what I need you to do now is roll for me.
Okay. By the way, we have confirmations that the links are now working.
Oh, great. You know what? I forgot. I was back in captions. I got to hop the chat. Hi, Kelly. Hello, Chugger.
All right. That's a 1.
Roll again and subtract it.
First roll of the day. That's a 9. So -8.
That's a -8. So the
not too shabby. Not too shabby.
That's a good first roll. Well, at least it's a roll that's not vitally important for my survival, because I'm the game master. Unbeknownst to you, you've sort of just stopped off to the side of the path, and you're sort of sort of standing in a tree with your hands behind your back, and you're just lost in thought, like where to go next, what to do next, right?
Yeah.
And Burra's voice emerges near your shoulder, and you're like, "Oh my God, I was so out of it. I didn't even hear him approach."
Yeah.
And he says, "Master Adabir would like you to quietly return to the house. Okay. You can continue your discussions. I'm to lead you through the woods, though, so that you're not seen on the road. And he's going to open his bedroom window, and you'll simply have to have a conversation with him there, if you're willing."
I am willing. I have no qualms about that.
Maybe for all of your rolls, we need to do drum rolls, because I tell you, we turn our back on the drum roll thing. I'm going to put this up since we're going to be dealing with Adabir for a while. So you head back about halfway. He sort of plunges into the woods. Roll for me.
At 27.
You're still doing great. Pretty quickly, a game trail emerges, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't know that was here." And so he takes you through and back around. It
Hopefully
opens in.
I've got my pretty dress on. Hopefully it's not gonna
Well,
intrude.
you just have to move carefully, or take it off, baby. Just
No.
take it off. Oh, we should remind any new viewers that that Brise is a phenomenally beautiful human woman. Like on a scale of 1 to 100 in this game, she's actually a 103. So she really is supermodel beautiful.
Okay. So I'm missing some info. There you go.
Uh, so
synopsis.
there's another drum roll from Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. And so this is the very beginning, Kelly, of the Me Too movement. That's what this is.
In the year, what year is it again? It's like
It's
1,200 something.
well, it's in Elven. The Elven date is 738.
Okay, that's pretty good compared to where we are now.
I know, right? We're well ahead of it.
Who knows? By 2020 in your world, Kevin, we're gonna have like, I don't know, portals to other worlds, maybe. Or
I am the main drag on social development.
the creator of the world. Let your people free.
Did you see Quinn's joke there? Oh, it's time for a Quinn well wish as well. Everybody wish Quinn a speedy recovery. He's still dealing with health problems. So
Not
Quinn,
after that joke.
I do love Quinn's joke, though. That cracks me up.
It was pretty good.
So you make it back around. You come out the far side of a stable. The house is in the distance. You go back around the stable. He's opening gates for you or helping you over fences. Soon your dwarf lives matter. That's hilarious. Sort of weirdly and discreetly and kind of embarrassingly, honestly, because it's so weird to be sneaking up to a nice home when you're used to, ruling them and so on, because you are from a wealthy family. It's a little humbling. So you approach this back ground floor window, and the door is already the window is already open. There is decent cover there, just with bushes and so on. And so, you just throw your cloak down on the ground and sit on the grass. He is in a sort of a shea lounge that's been pulled up to the window.
Is Burra going to stay there, or is he does it go away?
Burra clearly is pretending to tend the bushes and keeping a lookout.
Good. Hey, stick around, Burra.
I'm
immediately, just as soon as I see him, my apologies for how that went. That was most unfortunate that conversation took that turn.
Yeah, I wonder how that happened. It's really interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I being cruel? No, but let me see. Boom, there we go. So he so I'm going to call up Adabir's personality here.
Angry.
Yeah, there's a bit of that.
Angry.
So he says, we're going to work through it. It's going to be a hard few days. We're not going to be able to convince Felagel after that mishap. So I'm going without her, secretly and soon.
Okay. I'm going to interrupt him right there.
Lily!
I was talking with...
Stop you right there.
Lashwin, and she's very concerned, for your health, and I am too, and I just want to make sure you're, you know, um, you're aware of that, the dangers, which are going to be much greater now without your sister's support.
Daughter.
Oh, that daughter support, or your sister.
Who knows?
Did you ever have a sister? Well, if you didn't, you're
Um,
missing out.
from a family of 3, he's the middle child. Let me see. Boy. No, he's the middle of 3 boys, like myself.
We have Quinn is asking us, who is Kralum? Who is Verilag? We're just gonna have to wait and find out.
5,000 years ago, Verilag was a human queen, ruled a Manish nation to the north of where we are. If Kralum isn't free, is it at least reasonably? That is Quinn's humor to a T right there. So she ruled a kingdom to the north, a Manish mountain kingdom. She was interested in getting more and more power. She summoned a demon named Kralum. She then, remarkably, tricked a number of nations into helping her construct a trap for Kralum and trapped him and proceeded to drain his power. And when I say a demon, what I mean by that is really the king of a realm of demons, or what is known as a realm lord. Brise has since known, and of sufficient power that at least one source tells Brise that no combination of powers on the continent of Karandrin can stop any realm lord, much less Kralum. And so, but somehow, Kralum was trapped, his power drained, so he's apparently less of a threat. And so Verilag is back from her own prison. That was
Also my fault.
Kralum Brise Brie. I think you mean Brie. I mean, Brie is delicious. And so Verilag's release from her prison is linked to Brise's life. And so long as Brise is alive, there's a possibility that Verilag's power will grow. She'll be able to free herself fully from the prison and begin rebuilding her empire. We know from a historical account that there is a place north of here still known as Verilag's Mark, where she brought down a mountainside with a wave of her hand. And who knows if her power is still that low. And so that is the crazy machination that Brise finds herself in, is trying to secretly work against Verilag without Verilag realizing it and just imprisoning Brise. And Kralum is free, at least in the form, his power is slightly free in that he can possess animals and use them to communicate to Brise and plan his own escape. And so he's playing both sides, not exactly against each other, but he's trying to keep herself alive and take Verilag off the board as a threat to all the nations, honestly. Mm. So, hey, Mark, welcome back.
He says we're not able to convince Faliglel, and he's going to go. Adabir's going to go on his own.
Right. And he says that I know I'm old. I know that I am frail. I get all of that. I understand. Already, my contact in the Goblin Kingdom has promised me healers for my time with her. It will be taken care of. But I must admit that I am frailer than I thought, even in just this emotional outburst. I I realize that I am too frail to do this alone. But this could be the crowning moment of my research. And so I am feeling better. Thank you, Mark. I, yeah, these stupid headaches, man. I'm telling you. Good God. Ugh, 20 years of nonstop pain.
Woo!
Um,
Let's make it 30. Woo! Come on.
I think you know my opinion on that. It's just, no, I'm an advocate. And I have lost that the goblin noblewoman that he had a past relationship with, but we can find that later.
Okay.
But
I would again, I want to interrupt him, and I don't. So pass this by you first, Kevin, to see
sure,
is this appropriate. But basically, I want to tell him like I don't want to be the reason for you dying, and if I am, I don't know, your family if they're gonna come after me or um, uh, how to express. Obviously, he's like much older than me, much more influence, I guess. Kind of hint at that fact that I guess I'll tell him along the lines of this, well, if we go ahead with this, you're basically putting your life in my hands, and I don't know how Faliglel or the rest of your house will feel about that. If something were to go wrong,
this work is more important than their opinion. And why am I going to roll for this? This is interesting. Roll for me.
35.
He's clearly struggling with the question of whether or not to tell something to you that he's sort of loath to admit. And you see him struggle with it, and he passes it by, shakes it off, and he says, first, I'll have even better care at that noblewoman's home. And secondly, I will have access to resources that can magically improve my health. I was content to let the years pass until my ending. I was content with that until this opportunity to finally siphon a truly powerful demon's power and use it for the good of man. But we're going to be living on a noblewoman's estate, many times the size of mine. We'll have attendants.
Okay. All right. I mean, Faliglel will also know where we are, I'm assuming. Or
I will leave her a note. I've already began composing it.
okay.
The question is, how quickly can you be free of your obligations and join me in Nargos? Let me sip some of my Geritol-laden liquid. Oh, it's an Ensure. He's drinking Elven Ensure.
I want to tell him that I am at his service. But before I say that, I do want to consider not Adabir. I'm not in love with Adabir. I'm in love with Aldruff.
Oh, right.
Aldruff, my almost boyfriend.
Well,
in the city.
This is less so. Yeah. So Brise does have a romantic interest in the city. And
we've dated, well, not dated, and
courted.
Courted a few times, spent a few hours together, evenings.
So
Exchanged one awkward kiss. No, he almost kissed, and then I said no.
right, because
That's the last time we saw each other was about a week ago.
well, this would be a more palatable option than taking him to another world or putting him in danger.
Yes.
If if he would agree to be a member um, of Adabir's household, or indeed the noblewoman's household, in some capacity, and obviously he is actually a tailor. For those of you who don't know,
Right.
And so that, I mean, if he's willing to leave his family business in Convergence, then that is a possibility.
Right. And it definitely sounds like I would want to talk with him first before I decided anything with Adabir.
Boo, 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 boo. I'm sorry. Just a little, sorry, a little crooner. I'm sorry.
What was I saying? Yeah, I do want to talk to him first before I commit to telling Adabir that I'm ready to go.
So,
because if he says, "Hey, I need a month," then that's another thing for me to consider. So.
Well, but he can join you. It's not like you'll be hiding from Aldrich.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, Adabir's asking me right now. I need to know when you're free, and I'm saying I don't know that yet.
Do you want to run? Do you want to run the idea of you have a friend?
Sure, yeah. There's a friend that I have who, I don't know how to explain it. There's a friend I have in the city, very a close companion of mine. That would it be possible to take him along on this journey?
Find him a position in the household, that sort of thing.
Right. He knows tailoring. Works at a business, his family's business in the town.
That's what everybody does, is they work at their family's business. That's
all right.
That's an interesting personality trait to roll for NPCs and indeed PCs. Is how romantically minded are they?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. I know for a lot of for a lot of role playing games that are just hack and slash, it'd be irrelevant. Although even there, you could make an argument for it, a different type of romance, obviously. But he's like, I recognize that lilt in your voice. And I wouldn't deny it to anyone. He is more than welcome. And I should be able to see to it that he's paid at least what he's making at his parents' business. There is my guarantee to you.
Okay.
He speaks into the room, he turns back, and he says, and if you give me a moment, I'll send you with a small token of assurance to the family that he will be well taken care of and well paid. Okay. And pretty soon a little coin purse is passed to you, and it's got 10 gold in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's talking
the gold. Thanks.
This sort of romantic discussion has really softened his mood. Like, I rolled open-ended. Like, he's like, there's no way he would stand in the way of your romantic ambitions unless it was really diametrically opposed to his plans.
That's funny because his daughter, he's like, my daughter doesn't know anything, but it's like, oh, but you have someone you love. It's like, well, we need of course they can come along. They can be a part of the
right. So, like, when can you have me an answer?
Let me just check my schedule right here.
You take out your cell phone. Let me see.
Will try to come back tomorrow. I can't send a note, can I? Because Falagel and the rest of the house will. I mean, she will definitely see it. Oh, if I send a note to Burra, maybe.
Yeah.
That's my concern is when can I next see Aldroff, right?
Well, what you need to ask him is how can I get word to you?
Okay, yeah, I'll ask him that first. How can I get word to you? You know, when I do find out, because I'm not sure.
You mentioned Burra. He's kind of respectful to his servants. He asked Burra first if that's okay with him.
Oh.
And Burra's like, yes, of course. Yeah, I'd be honored, And then, so it's all agreed. Send word to Burra. And there you go.
I'm assuming I can just, when I send a note to his house, just tell the person to deliver it to the groomsman named Burra.
Yeah, you would write the groomsman Burra on there. You might. I mean, in this day and age, you might even put, physical description.
Yeah.
Like
I just want to make sure it's not like a traditional thing, for, I guess, the woman of the house to like just read all the notes first or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, of course, that's the great thing about sending it to Burra is it'll never make it to the house. Especially
right, because he's kind of at the front usually. He's not.
Or he'll be in the stables. They'll ask around the grounds probably before coming to the house, especially if you put the word groomsman on there.
Right. Okay. Good. I'll send one to Burra.
Mark, I've heard good things about WandaVision, but I haven't watched any of it yet.
Okay.
So what's next on your agenda, sir? Because it looks like this has taken yet another turn.
Yeah. So I do want to tell Adabir about Kralum, how, because what Kralum told me. So I know I've spoken to Adabir about, I've spoken with Kralum on occasion. He knows that. And I'll tell him that I spoke with Kralum the other day, yesterday. What did he tell me? He said he obviously supports the plan that we're doing. I mentioned it offhand to him. He will try to help in any way he can. He can take the form of small animals and is intelligent and can speak in that form. So if he advised that if you need anything that a small creature could do, fetch, kind of do research or to find resources, he can provide that.
And you've not discussed with him what Kralum told you about his environment, right?
Oh,
I don't think you have.
All he mentioned was about the eagles, right? Because that was at the same time. So let me find that conversation with Kralum, and then just so I don't leave anything out.
Maybe just search for eagles. I'm sure it's your first mention of eagles so far.
Yeah.
I turned this fan on in this room, this ceiling fan, and then I put on my glasses when I'm having bad days and can't see shit. And I swear to God, these glasses channel that fan right into my eye. I don't know what it is. I never have a problem with a ceiling fan being on, but God almighty.
Quinn says, Adabir, son of Attaboy. I've actually thought about that a lot. Every time I'm like, Attaboy, Adabir.
So. We should call him Have a Beer. That's the name we should give him.
Have a beer for Adabir. Where was I? Okay. He says he is part. I asked Kralum if he could describe the location he's at. He tells me he knows he's part on a mountain that's part of a mountain range. He thinks he senses intelligent creatures in the valley below. Could mean human settlements.
Or goblin settlements is your theory.
Right. True.
This is we suspect, gang, that the volcano, often called a fire mountain, is in the southern half of the goblin nation called Nargaz, and that is immediately north of Brise's location right now. So
right.
So that's kind of cool. that we know that.
And the other detail Crowlem pointed out is that he believed the great eagles. Well, he knew that the great eagles had been active in that region. He cited at some point in the past, actually, them trying to attack him and drive him off.
Right.
A little effect.
Throwing couch-sized boulders down upon him.
Yeah.
And
which he shook off.
Yeah, he was like, clearly they don't know who they're dealing with.
Just another Tuesday.
So, yeah, just another Tuesday. Getting that damn shadow on my face. I'm going to move this off to the side.
Else to mention Okay, and then I will also mention that one other thing I discussed with Crowlem is there are certain beings from an underground, cavernous underground world, beneath our feet, called the Unmath, and there are these beings that devour metal and could possibly be used as a resource to destroy the shackles around Crowlem. So I know. So I talked to Adabir about this. Like, I know we were talking about siphoning Crowlem's own power to free him, and that's definitely a possibility. But we should also think about other ways that we can, break the chains, break the bonds there.
I have heard of other underground realms contained within ours.
No, okay.
None by that name. Do you have a means of reaching these creatures, reaching the Unmath at all?
Only. Well, what was I going to say? I know a couple leads, but no definite way yet. Obviously, some portaling down there with maybe the help of Lashwin, or I know another portal master. Or there are certain crystals. I mentioned Allertag crystals are rumored to have the ability to transport you between here and the Unmath.
Roll for me.
39.
Okay. He seems uneasy about that idea. Just what's on his face seems like, not his number one.
Not his go-to. Well, he doesn't like giant centipedes.
I know. What's the problem, man? God, racist.
Giant metal-eating centipedes.
That's right. That's right.
So I tell him that Crowlem can possibly help us.
So, and so the Unmath, for those of you who don't remember, that is some sort of realm underground that have multiple races in there that Brise has never heard of. She encountered this denizen of the Unmath in the form of an enormous sort of bulbous centipede creature. I'm wearing my glasses wrong. All right, I'll turn them upside down. So
much better.
People
joining the stream will just be like, "What the heck is going on?"
Well, Kelly, now that I've done this, damn it, all the words are upside down. Isn't that right, Zam? Okay. Anyway, nothing for that. No, nothing. All right, you're all bastards. So the Unmouth, they came from there. They come to the surface occasionally, sort of on vacation. It was a very friendly creature, as you'll find. Um, as you'll find, not all creatures in this game are evil, and that's how Brise learned of it. So, um, um, all right. So, what do you want to do, sir? He doesn't love that idea clearly, but he's not willing to say it.
Right.
Um,
Um, so I think that's, so he said he's going soon. So the next time we'll meet up, then I will either send him a note or Burrow will tell me when we can meet up. So I think that's good for now.
So right now, you can tell him just to continue to send notes to the Tea and Loaf
Right.
as his plans firm up. And then, oh, hello, Karen. Glad to see you. It's been a long time. We've missed you. Karen, Obi-Wan Karen and I used to play a great old school PC game called X-Wing, which of course was Star Wars stuff, right? But the best thing about it is that aside from the story, you had a simulator there at your Rebel base, and you could just go in and multiplayer fighter battles. And you could set up the computer to control huge wings of TIE fighters or X-Wings, whatever side you wanted to be on. We used to go to our buddy's house, our buddy Dave's house, and we used to do that all the time. And it was a blast. We had so much fun. And so for her pilot name, she chose Obi-Wan Karen. Um, so, um,
More of a Lego Star Wars guy myself.
well, that's your age level. That's your emotional maturity is showing.
Legos are cool.
I love Legos. In the last, I don't know, 3 years or so, I bought, I don't know, $100 worth of Lego or so. So, oh, you recall I showed you some of the things I was working on ages ago.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell him to keep sending me notes, and I think that's good for today.
All right. Well, goodbye, everybody. No, oh, that's not what you mean. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for talking with him. So I'm ready to, just again thank him and tell him, that that we will succeed in this venture. This is going to be very interesting. I'm glad he's willing to help. I'm glad he's willing to put so much at risk, to further his research and to help me in this cause.
And your safety is that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no matter what I do, I'm unsafe, but this is Rollmaster anyways. Walking down the road, I get attacked by giant rainbow colored scorpions. So,
and that's because the unicorns were busy, but whatever. I mean, I don't want to, not me. I don't want to do anything. I was going to look at it, Adam. I was going to check in something here. Yeah. So he's like, well, I apologize for my temper. I had carefully arranged things. I knew that Falaglel would object to our plan, and I knew that Lashwin would object to my goal.
Yeah.
But we're going to go through with this. I'm telling you now, we're going to go through with it. My contacts, the goblin woman that I've spoken of, she has a small force at her disposal, several hundred men. And so I can't imagine a better way of scouting out various fire mountains in the region than letting them take care of it. And so I will be. I hope to hear from you very soon. Um, and um, you get up and sneak back all the way back to the road, or of course you can just teleport from there.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm assuming Burrow's going to escort me.
Yeah. So you get an escort and so on.
Back to the road and nod him thanks. And do I want to give him any extra?
How's your generosity?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm very giving, and he definitely kind of went out of his way to do that. So I will give him. How much did I give him last time for the 1 second?
Well, that was a bribe, though. I think you gave him a couple of silver.
Right. So I can give him like 1 silver just for.
Shoot, you can give him a couple of copper, and he'd be pretty. That's buying him a meal, for instance.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just give him 3 copper and say thanks for the coming back and letting us continue our conversation.
Yeah. So he thanks you very much. He looks at you for a moment and he says, it's fair and right that you should have a fella in the city. I'm glad. And he turns and shuffles off. So
does he actually seem happy or kind of a little reluctant?
Oh dear Lord, Mark wants me to say who's better, Batman or Superman. Well, see, I used to teach writing, Mark.
Oh boy.
And I still kind of do, don't I? Don't I still kind of teach writing, Max? A little bit.
Well, if you would finish editing my story, I would
and
say teach
there
writing.
Goes the stream. It's ended. It's our last one. I have been really preoccupied. I keep thinking about that. Like, man, we've been in so much stuff.
The stream is taking time.
But so Superman versus Batman in writing, it's like, which is better, an essay or a poem? And the question is, what do you want to do with it? That's your answer. They're not better. They're different tools for different jobs.
That's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
That's
an interesting way of saying Batman is better.
That's what you should have said. You should have gone, wow, Kevin, that's an interesting way to be wrong. That would have been great, right? Just like, what a fascinating thing to ruin a conversation with. That is. I used to have this great gag that I would do that someone would say, make some insult, would insult me jokingly somehow. And I'm going to go, what a fascinating choice of your last words on earth. I would not have thought of that. I
was curious, does he, when he says that, is there a little bit of reluctance in his voice?
I mean, he's, it's sad but glad, right? It's bittersweet.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, just making sure, yeah.
Yeah. So you just pat him on the ass and you say, hey, you're my backup, and then off you go.
Backup. All right.
So head down the road a bit. Are you going to teleport? Are you going to just walk?
I don't know what I'm going to do. Let me look through. So I need to talk to Aldra, and I feel like I should do that sooner rather than later.
Roll for me.
How do I feel about seeing him? 46. They're going up. The numbers, they're going up.
That's right. Yeah, you're
46 now.
You don't know how to feel. I mean, you don't know how to feel, but it is. Well, you know what? Roll again for me.
34. We're back down.
It's not unreasonable that he would be really excited and jump at the chance.
Right. And that's what I'm like, should I just go there right now and tell him? I feel like my character is kind of anxious to do that, to get that off my chest. I almost,
right.
There's like an exam coming up and you just want the exam to happen.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So I think while I'm in my nicer clothes, I will, go to the tea and loaf, drop my stuff off and just run to his shop.
Run to his shop.
Unless, do I want to send, would it be more polite, send him a note? He can then meet me at the tea and loaf and we can actually.
Are you in the mood for propriety? Drum roll.
All right, but I'm just thinking realistically, he's going to be busy right at the tailor at this time of day. possibly.
Sure, but it's also important.
Okay, yeah, let's go talk to him then. Let's go meet him, and
All right,
we have
so
to wait. Then we have to wait. But
he is about to roll for a teleport. You're going to teleport to
the typical back alley for
of
the
you. Is it the one at the
I can
Silver
never
Crescent?
remember.
Your
No,
favorite?
it's the tea and loaf. Back out of the tea and loaf. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we do need a bunch of drum rolls, everybody, because this has been a major problem for Brise. Even before we were streaming, we have great stories. Maybe that's what we should do next time while we wait for people to join is tell stories of Brise's spell
Oh.
fumbles.
And then you guys got to join earlier if you want to catch the stories.
That's right. That's right. Be on time, you assholes.
But if too many join too early, then we can't tell the story because we have to start. So.
It's a bitter catch-22. I should do a caption.
I need to find my spell channeling. How many slots? Okay,
Hey, you keep and you watch the chat and tell them. Can you see the chat? I forget.
I can't. I can see a little bit, like the top 3 comments. Where is my
people need to?
Damn it, Kevin! Too many magic items. Never thought I'd complain. I have too many magic items, but
that's right.
There it is. Okay, so I have one slot left. We got a drum roll with the snake, shark, and monkeys.
That's right.
Teleports into a wall. All right, here we go. Teleport.
Okay, go ahead.
53. Not too sure.
All right, a successful teleport. And now roll to aim to keep your mind focused.
It's an 18.
That's an 18. Wow. Let's see.
Wow.
Okay, no problem there. I
think I will teleport into a wall. Wall, tea and loaf.
It's not terrible.
Okay.
You appear in the. You appear at the Crystal Maze Adventuring Guild.
Okay.
Which is just in town. It just flashed through your mind as you were casting the spell, and you wound up at the wrong place, but in the right city, so no problem.
Yeah. I ended up inside a temple in Alamar.
That's right.
Am I at like the typical teleportation spot, or am I?
Yes. And it's totally empty. The courtyard is totally empty.
Okay.
So that's nice. Not that it really matters. These people are used to people popping in and out of existence.
Right. All right. Well, I will hurry over to the tea and loaf because I still have all my stuff that I brought with me.
Roll for me. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I do have all my stuff with me, so let me drop it off first. And I need to leave a note for Clarence.
Oh, wait a minute. Isn't your room up at the tea and loaf?
I got some more. I have until the 14th.
Okay. No, I was just making sure. I'm thinking it was Ganry who cleared out his stuff. Anyway, so you know what? I was speaking of Ganry. I was gonna see if we want to do a makeup session maybe on Friday. And that way I can announce it to people here.
Right.
So would you roll?
Roll a 33.
So it takes you a little time to make your way back to the tea and loaf. A couple of wrong turns. It is a larger city.
One would think after being here for like 2 weeks that I'd know where the hell I'm going. Then again, I get lost where I live all the time, so I shouldn't be talking.
You make it there, no problem. Relatively busy.
Okay.
You
just lug my stuff in my room.
Absolutely.
Keep my dagger on me and my boot as always, and keep on my nicer clothes.
Right. Do a touch up in a mirror and
right. reapply my rouge if that's invented at this time.
You got to pinch your, that's what the some of the ladies would do to ladies who were poorer back in the day, like even as far back as like the 1800s and so on. Is like they'd either pinch their cheeks to get them rosy,
Oh,
or some of them would actually bite a finger to cause bleeding and touch it to their cheeks and rub it in lightly.
well, Brise would actually probably do that.
That's
She's very, very much about appearances.
you are very vain.
Well,
So
take 1 point of damage so to look beautiful. Okay. So I'll do that. Go downstairs and let's leave a note for, or send a note to Clarin. Yeah. Assuring him of my safety. Because I met him. So background, I met him yesterday. Well, yeah, yesterday got news.
So Clarin's the priest, right?
Right. And what happened is that the demon Aluktu, who owed a favor to me, who I had to basically kind of this weight, on my chest to get this demon to do a favor for me. I ended up sending him off to this valley with all these undead called the Philistan, these halfling undead, who were mobilizing, plotting possibly to take some action against Verilag that might have caused quite a ruckus, might have...
maybe many of them, which will be a rough eye.
I'm trying to remember, like, what it would have been bad. Well, right, because just then they might have been after me. In their antagonism of Verilag, and
they could have captured or killed you.
Right. They were threatened. So
if they take very rash action, very bold action, this whole, there's hundreds, thousands of undead here occupying these hills north of the city.
Right.
And they could, in an attempt to either find Verilag or find Brise to deny Verilag Brise, they could have sent out hundreds of undead in neighboring communities. I mean, it was a very unstable situation, and Brise
stabilized it.
Neutralized the threat by sending this tremendously powerful demon to snuff them out.
And Verilag, we have word that Verilag appeared, slew Aluktu in one hit, and then just disappeared. And so
we're worried that Verilag may suspect that Brise is somehow involved. The likelihood of that, we just have no idea.
Right. And nothing's happened in almost 24 hours. So,
right.
So I'm writing a note to Clarin, the priest, who is kind of my confidant in a lot of this stuff that's going on. Nothing has happened yet. I'm still safe and still, pursuing my own plans as normal.
Speaking of Verilag, do you have a story in mind? I can't remember. Do you have a lie in mind to why you're now, for Verilag, for why you're now, living at a goblin estate why you're involved with Adabir, these sorts of things?
Not at all.
Well, good job. That shouldn't be a problem. I mean, you couldn't need it except for any second now, but I wouldn't worry about that. It should be fine. Spur of the moment is always the best way to risk your life, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, so, when that time comes, we'll think about it.
Oh, that's funny, Quinn. I like that. You're so vain, you probably think this game is about you. That's fantastic.
The good thing about being just a low-level adventurer and her being this sorceress is that we really are on different pages. So I just can say, like, I heard there's treasure in this area, and she's just like, okay, cool.
Yeah, right. Because
that's actually kind of worked so far for a couple.
Right. I mean, she knows your deal, and she would it's interesting. We don't know whether,
because I'll be heading towards where she knows Kralum is.
Right. It's funny. Like, she's so old, she's forgotten. She's like, "Fuck! Where did I put that demon?
Where did I put that demon?
I had to clap her on it. That didn't work." It's like finding your car. She's got an alarm, and she's like holding it in different areas and
panic mode.
So
Kralum just starts screaming.
That's right.
Anyway,
Hey,
Right. So
Quinn.
actually, that's a good thing. I'll write that down as ongoing things to come up with an excuse.
Yeah, there's your on your. That's right. Yeah, and Rollmaster, in Karandrin, we've all started doing this thing. The players have all started doing this thing where we sort of have like at the bottom of your notes, you just sort of keep this thing about short-term goals going on because it is a more complex game than most, and so we use this system of short-term goals in a list that we just hop to it. Oh yeah, I got to meet with this guy and all that. Hey, Quinn, if you can find a way to send a sound file through the chat, right? Then I would like you to send a sound file of you singing. You're so lame, you probably think this game is about you. And that would be fantastic. And then everyone click on it, listen to it. And that would be terrific. And I would pee a little. I'm not going to lie to you. I would pee a little. Um, so, all right.
So I write that note. Anything else I should add? I don't think.
Possibility of leaving the city
Oh
soon.
yeah, good. Yeah, good point. Yeah. So I'll write that.
More details to follow or whatever,
Yeah.
Do you expect? Do you? I mean, do you want to give him like you want to say, "Hey, I'll be in town for a day or so if you want to talk," or do you have other plans that'll take you out of town?
I
Just
will
give
be.
him an idea of where to find you.
Yeah. No, I will. I will be in town for sure.
Okay.
I don't plan to be.
Or if you're gone, you'll be probably popping in and popping back, literally with teleport.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Just send a note to Clarence mentioning that I'm safe. Catch up on some notes here. I'm safe. Soon. Cool. And then I tell him I will be around for at least a few days.
Right. You probably think this teleport is about you.
It's not. Okay. Now, ready. Also, is that how you spell Aldruff?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I was spelling it much more phonetically. Aldruff is how I was saying it. It was like
Aldruff.
Aldruff. No, just all Al. Well, I guess Al. Yeah, is that all or Al, depending on. It's my Narga's accent. That's
it. That's it.
Aldruff. That's how I pronounce it. So.
That's right.
Anyway, I will head to his family's shop now.
Make it there without incident or confusion.
I bring the bag of 10 gold.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
Whoops.
So you you cross the little sort of barred windows that give some light into the shop, and before you can make it to the door, he is outside, and no kidding, I rolled a double aught, and you are swung up in his arms, and he is spinning you, and roll for me.
How nauseous do I get? 98.
Roll again and add it.
22.
Yeah, you really don't want to say goodbye to this guy.
Yep.
This is gonna be interesting. Gonna be my first married in PC.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be really crazy. So,
married adventurer. Jeez, that's like an oxymoron.
well, it'd be like being in the military.
Yeah, true. Military. Yeah. Very interesting. Except much more dangerous. Less dangerous.
I guess it depends on. I guess it depends on the era.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being like Bush. I mean, through like I guess post Vietnam all the way to first Gulf. It was a pretty good gig. It was still hard work and even training. Would kill several thousand a year, but of our servicemen. But um, um, he tells you just very soulfully. He's like, I don't care what dangers you have to face. I don't care. I want to be with you. I don't care if it's dangerous. I don't care.
Me too.
Um, so how busy are they? All right, little break.
Well, I tell him that, well, I do have some interesting news, good news. We could talk now, or we can meet up tonight.
He takes you to the back of the shop.
Okay.
His folks are there. Whoops. The father is not quite as handsome as the son, but still very striking looking. The mother also is rather beautiful. And they're clearly sort of overwhelmed at their son's face and just reaction and so on. Oh, wait. Look at that. Kelly says that you're pregnant, I guess, horse. You're pregnant horse? I don't know. You own something that's pregnant. I don't know what that would be.
You're pregnant, yeah.
Your womb.
My womb is pregnant.
So they're sort of pleased and overwhelmed at his sort of rushed introduction and pushing your hands into each other and so on. He clears you off a little bench to sit on. They've got fabric piled up. They've got, they have dresses hanging and they're working away. So, and so he says to them, she has news. She has news. And in his excitement, he does say, and her great danger must have passed, which of course you've been hoping to keep all of that out of the presses.
Yeah.
That's a Taylor joke. Anyway, so roll for me.
32.
It's hard to tell that there's no strong reaction from the parents on that line. So, hey, maybe it just passed, maybe they're still just processing this whirlwind.
Yeah.
He sits down, he takes you, you're sort of sitting, on the bench, sort of straddling the bench together. And he's holding your hand, he's looking at you. And he says, what's your news? What's your news?
Okay. Do I want to say this with the parents there? I guess doesn't really matter, right?
You just have to couch it in Quinn, shut up. And where's that song, Quinn? Instead of busting my chops about music, Quinn, where's you singing that song? Quinn. All right. So,
yeah, I mean, I guess it's better if they're there because then it's the
all the decision makers are there.
Right, exactly. Yeah, instead of having him to go and relay. So I'll just, what do I say? I don't know if they know about my adventuring life though. Well, okay. All I need to say is that I have some business that is taking me out of the city.
You have a position.
Okay, I have a position. That's taking me. That is demanding that I do leave the city for some time. But I've spoken with my superiors, and they would be fine with Aldruff or with you coming along. and my employers are a wealthy family, and they would appreciate his skills as a tailor, and are willing to compensate him for the same amount he's earning now. And they also they also want to give you a gift for this request.
Or sort of as a token of their word.
Right. Token of their word. They offer a gift, and I pull out the bag of gold and just set it on the bench.
which you've cleverly turned the 10 gold into 1,000 bronze. Like, here you go, guys. Boom.
Chunk.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dig in. It's like 15 pounds of coins.
We're gonna be rich.
That's right. 10,000 copper. You just bring a wagon up loaded with copper coins. They said, be sure to count it. Not.
Yeah, they are penny pinchers. They are.
Copper. Roll for me.
A 13.
Have you hit over 50 today?
I got that 98.
Oh, right.
That was like the highest. Yeah.
That's kind of cool though, because in some ways that's an issue settled for you.
Right.
You know,
instead of feeling like on the fence, it's like, I want to stay with this guy.
It's hard to read their reactions. Yes, the mom is smiling, but is she smiling because of the romance of it, because of seeing her son so happy?
Right.
Aldrich goes, oh my, and looks at the parents. He's got a worried expression on his face. He's like, I don't know that I could leave them. You probably mentioned it's going to be with aristocratic household.
Right. 6 months possibly. I'll say minimum time, but we know. Aristocratic family on an estate.
Do you want to mention that it's goblin, or are you just going to let that slide?
You can let it slide, because usually that kind of gets people in more trouble, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're like me, and they're like, yeah, goblins are cool.
Yeah.
Chad's like, I love goblins.
That's right. He's like,
miracle roll. He's like a goblin fanatic. Right. Absolutely adores goblins.
Funny Pooch. That's funny. They're doing all these Taylor jokes down in the chat. I don't know if you can see them, but
yeah, I saw a few, and then I'm not looking at anymore because they're terrible.
They're terrible.
I was in at the first few, but now
we see our viewership just plummet. Like after you insult their jokes, like, son of a bitch, Max, we were doing so great.
I just get like DDoS. People start sending me death threats. Like, how dare you insult my jokes? Know where you live.
The father says, comes over to you very gently, and he puts his hand on your shoulder, and he's like, and puts a hand on his, and it's like, it's all quite a bit to process. Who is this employer that's offering the money?
Yeah.
A respected scholar.
Yeah, he's a respected scholar and researcher who lives just outside of Convergence, up and I'll tell up north in the Woolen Way, make it seem a little more credible. He's an elderly man.
He actually turns to Aldrich and said, when I was starting out, we would get a good deal of our wool from that area. one of the better areas near the city. Um, he says it's all estates now, isn't it?
And pretty much in his area, at least his neck of the woods.
And he looks at you very directly, sort of searching your face, and he says, "And you trust this man? You trust his word?"
I do. I do. I've met him several occasions already, and he's very passionate about his work and very respectful of his servants and the people he works with.
When does he need an answer?
Soon is what he told me. I would imagine the next couple of days would be the best.
Aldrich knows how to reach you, I assume.
Yes, I'm staying at an inn that he's been to. He knows about.
Well, let us discuss the matter.
I cast charm.
There you go. Right. Start
We'd love to.
manipulating.
No.
Manipulating. That's you actually handling the mom's tits. That's not you casting a spell. That's you just straight out molesting them. So what in my family we call an
Charm works in weird ways.
That's right. Charm, harm, whatever. So they you all rise and Aldrich walks you to the door and he just kisses you a couple times fervently on the cheek and just holds you to look at your face and yeah, he's quite I mean he's vibing what you're vibing is of course the ancient way of saying it.
Yeah. Do I feel the urge to kiss him back possibly? Or?
Well, kiss him back. You don't kiss back with a cheek.
No? Okay.
You go, what do you do? Like push harder into it?
I just know because the last time he was going to try to kiss me.
No, kiss you though. Boop. On the lips.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I meant. Like, do I want to kiss him back on the lips?
Wait,
not anymore. Oh, God.
Wait. Oh, wait. No. Here's what I want you to show us all how you're going to kiss him. This is
I'm not gonna show. I'm gonna leave the stream. I don't have anything to do.
You're gonna
what is a tabletop RPG without both the player and the game master?
Better in our case. Yeah, you feel like planting one on him. It's time.
Let's go for it. Let's do it.
Roll for me.
Gosh, Kevin, can we get a drum roll?
Oh yeah, there you go. Wait for the drum roll
for first kiss.
Hashtag awkward.
When you say it's awkward, you make it awkward.
That's right. You know what? I should have told everybody.
Fire and eggplant emoji. Actually, Carrot, Obi-Wan, Carrot, in front of the parents, are they staring at us?
No. They stayed in the back, no doubt, to sort of begin the conversation.
Right.
And so, there's one drum roll. We need more drum rolls, people. What do you think this is? Okay. An unimportant stream. What we need is some drum roll support. And they don't have your sensibilities, Karen. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm rolling now.
All right. We've only got one to do it.
Ooh, it's an 18.
It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Because if it was really, really high, then but It was still satisfying. He's surprised. He warms up, leans in. It really is going to be seared into your memory, and and um, and then, hey, keeper, I've missed your post. If you've posted before, this is the first time I've seen you. That's a horrible kiss, sloppy and lots of tongue. I feel like I'm getting criticized in the in the stream.
Well,
Um,
I'm glad I did that, especially because of all the experience I'm going to get from that. It's all
that's
about the
true.
experience,
It's
right?
no kidding. Like in Karandrin, if you don't know, like an experience is an experience, bad or good. You still get points for it. And so you kiss his belt. Awkward. That's really funny. And then yeah, Obi-Wan Karen will not comment. I guess I
I,
thought.
uh, Kevin, I thought Aldrich was like half elven.
Is he? What did I say?
You said human.
Was
I'm searching through my notes, but I met him so long ago, it's not in my notes.
right. Let me see if I what I have here.
Change races.
That's fine. That happens. It's been so long since you've seen each other.
Yeah,
He's now
yeah.
changed.
Well, actually, out of game time, it might have been almost a year since I've seen Aldrich, because maybe not a year, maybe like 6 months or something. Because it's a
Right.
week in game time takes us number of months to get through.
Well, we'll look it up. We'll look it up later. I can
Yeah,
always change
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So
He's half elven. I want nothing to do with him.
that's right. It's gonna completely. Oh, look at Quinn posting that. You end up boating his ear off.
No, okay. Well, that's wonderful.
So I think it's kind of a cool place for a break. We'll come back.
Good idea. Yeah,
We can head. We might just speed through the rest of the state. I don't know if you have anything planned, and then we'll see maybe what
yeah,
happens
yeah.
tomorrow. Get you some research done and so on. And so everybody, hey, I'm gonna post some links again, just so you guys, if you're not doing what we're doing, which is running to restrooms and uh, beverages,
Emptying
then
our platters.
right, then you can just hop here, take a read. We got our little link problem fixed. It was that we were posting too much at one time, and by that I mean me. Um, so there you go. So we'll be right back. Thanks for joining us, um, and um, and
See you in a
so
bit.
yeah, just give us a few seconds. Hello, everybody. We're back. Thanks for taking a break with us and giving us a bit to run, get some water, and what have you. Oh, it's so delicious. Oh, good water. I was looking up to see if I could find that the goblin's name.
Two. Southern.
Yeah, I just can't find that person's name. That's right. We'll find that. Soon find that goblin woman's name. I had it up in the database, my database of NPCs that I use, and then I don't know. I must have accidentally deleted her while I'm updating the database. Never good. Never good. So, all righty. Big kiss. You hug fiercely. You kiss again, and then you kiss again, and then you kiss again because it's it's tough to stop. And then
It's just we spent the rest of the day just doing that.
that's right. That's the whole thing.
What people did back then. They just
Customers have to walk around you to get through the door, things like that. So,
yeah, and then I will head back to my place.
yeah, you head back to the tea and loaf. Roll for me.
71.
All righty.
Minus whatever distraction is going on in my head right now.
Right, exactly.
I get lost and wander to the back alley.
That's right. That's where you get pregnant.
Oh, what a twist.
So, yeah. So, you just kind of want to roll through the rest of your day until you hear word from somebody. You want to do that kind of a thing?
Yeah. Let me just make sure. To update mine. I should have done this during the break. Need to talk to Aldrich again. He is the sign. Parents are. Sent the note to Clarin. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna chill out, do some reading. I honestly, yeah, the whole rest of the day, I wouldn't mind just kind of breezing through it. I don't really have anything else.
Right. No goals, no objectives other than, if there's time to read something, read something. So roll for me and we'll just kind of spend you a day.
Yeah, let me. I'd say 67.
Yeah, you're able to concentrate after a bit, right? You sort of glory in your newfound strength of your relationship and that sort of thing. Just enjoy being in that state, right?
Right.
One of the smartest things I ever heard about young love is that, like your first love or your first relationship is difficult to discern between being in love and being in love with the idea of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, that's really
kind of infatuated with the relationship itself.
the fact of it, right?
Yeah.
And there's no talking people out of that, right? They're just so moon-eyed. Next,
definitely in the evening, or if the innkeep's husband isn't busy, I'll learn a little more Dwarven.
Right. Well, let's see. What do you want to read in the meantime, and we'll see how much reading you get done. We'll just knock that out really quickly.
Definitely my tome.
Okay.
Way of the Spirit.
Okay. Roll for me.
Oh, Jesus. 86.
All right. You get a couple hours read on that, which is pretty impressive given your state of mind.
Right. And I guess I just have some lunch, here.
Right. So just go ahead and race for 2 meals. So what is that? 8 copper, 10 copper? What is that?
Oh, yeah, I'll calculate that.
Yeah, so Way of the Spirit affects that stuff like charm and sleep and things like those type of spells. Is what Way of the Spirit is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was just throwing out some facts.
Yeah. Charm, calm,
Yeah.
calms people.
Some classics.
Fear, I can make people afraid of me.
Right.
Sleep.
Perchance to dream. The Kelly says, "Yeah, you rolled a 67. You can read. Good job. Good job for you." Let's pull this down. My mic is bugging me today.
It's eight copper for 2 meals with drinks.
That's great. I don't care if you can see the mic, but God, it's casting a shadow on my face up here, and it's bugging me where it is. Now, of course, I'm going to reach over here, and when I reach for a piece of paper, I'm going to knock everything out of the socket. Oh, there we go. That's what I need to normally do. Right. So, yeah, take breaks, take naps, glory in your relationship. Roll again.
73.
Well, you're doing a lot better now, which is good because you're going through content. Do you want to study more? What do you want to do?
Well, how many hours did I get in the first place?
2.
2. Okay, cool.
For Way of the Spirit.
We could switch. Well,
text.
Depending how I'm feeling, switch to some of my other books. Reading about a book on the Fae.
Okay.
Or a book on. Probably want to read a book about demons in a bar.
Well, but you can go upstairs and do that. I mean,
true, yeah.
You don't have to worry about being spied by the.
Where is it? Darkness Countered, Forms of Fae, Nature and Theories of Golems.
Do you know the Jewish stories of? I know you have a Jewish line in your family, but do you know the Jewish story of the golem?
Yeah, it's kind of like where our modern idea comes from.
Yeah,
yeah. It's life was breathed into
like clay and mud.
Yeah,
and then you set it on a task, and it's very interesting. And there's a couple of horror movies out there based on it. Josh, who plays Ganry on Tuesdays, when I'm feeling up to it, is he watched one of those movies. He said it was interesting, not great, but parts of it were just really interesting.
Yeah, horror. That's an interesting concept for something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's read more of the Fae book, I think.
Okay. No problem. Roll up for me.
I'm curious how much I have read of it. I didn't really record that last time. 36.
Okay. You get about an hour done on that. And you just, hang out and so on. You do your lesson with the guy. No word from Clarin. I should roll my typical process here. I should put the mic down near my dice tray, right? You actually hear the rolls.
Yeah, it's like
they're genuine.
That's a 38, yeah.
That's like that. I am a dice whisperer. I understand by sound.
It'd be really cool in the stream if you were able to just get some plug-in. I mean, you don't get the satisfaction of rolling them in real life, right? But it just shows what numbers you're rolling. So then people are like, "Ooh, I wonder what that is."
That's right. So fairly sometime after dinner towards sunset, Aldra's sister comes, spies you, and
she was a little bit hesitant about. Oh, whatever. I don't even remember.
Well, as siblings tend to be, right? I mean,
right. But I can't remember if I had like a bad experience with her. I don't think it was anything discourteous. It was just kind of tepid.
Right. A little. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was. Yeah. I mean, it's like. Well, like I can't wait to see, like, if your sister, who will go unnamed, but if she starts dating a dude really seriously, how's that going to affect you? I can't wait to see that. Have you had that experience yet, where it's been a real serious relationship?
Well, a little bit. don't want to go into too much detail.
No. But
Yeah.
do you feel not about her, but about your feel? Like, did you feel like, did it change sort of suddenly how you feel? Where you're like, whoa, I
Yeah,
didn't.
it makes you think about a person differently. Yeah, it kind of makes
Yeah,
you think like, wow, they're their own person and they have their own
right.
opinions that aren't,
They're not just someone I
dependent on
hit.
me. Yeah,
I miss hitting them though. Um,
knocking them over the head. So yeah, I'll sister.
yes.
Sister, yeah.
So she comes in, spots you in the commons room, comes and sits down, and she looks at you intensely, sort of sizing you up, and she reaches across to your hand. She takes your hand. Good night, Kelly. Thank you for hanging out.
That's an
Um,
odd thing to say. Who's Kelly? I asked. Bye, Kelly.
who are you talking about? Crowlum, is that you? um, and so, and she takes your hand and she said, "Our father has decided that Aldrich is going to go with you.
Oh, okay.
Um, he, I hope, though, that you are the woman you seem to be." And
I tell her it's you can trust me, and
you can trust me, but I may not be everything you think I
yeah,
am.
yeah, I'm definitely not gonna. I'm gonna dodge that question, but more importantly, I won't go back on my word.
Right.
Thank you very much, and express my gratitude to the parents as well.
Um, she nods and and like she obviously cares for him very deeply, and you've not won her over yet, but that takes time. So
Right, right.
she nods, she gives your hand a squeeze, and she takes her leave.
Hmm.
You go through your evening and really enjoying yourself. You probably spend, let's say, 5 bronze on drinks, just treating yourself, and you do your dwarven lesson with the husband of the innkeepers. You can
Hmm.
see that they've clearly used your money to hire help during the evenings for to compensate for his absence.
Right, right.
And um, and so there you go. So um, you are we're kind of done with that day, and we move on to April
How
8th.
how long did I so we were doing the language in hours, I think, right? For hours of
Right. So yeah, you just mark it down as another hour.
okay.
Although you kind of go long, give yourself an hour and a half.
Oh,
That's probably because of that. It's probably because with the extra help now, he can take his time.
yeah. Try
This
to
is really interesting. You're going to have this love interest working at your sort of base of operations.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's interesting. It's kind of interesting.
Very unique role playing situation. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of that. But of course, that's, I want, as I've said before, of course, in a lot of my introductions to Karandrin, is that I want this to feel like a world. Now, romance doesn't typically feature into it. It has here and there, but nothing so long term or potentially long term. But I kind of like it. I like it to be a richer, broader world than go to tomb, attack,
Right.
leave.
And that's the problem with the relationship is usually it is not divided into periodic chunks. It's a continuous changing thing.
Right,
Hard to role play. Yeah.
right. And of course, a lot of that we won't be role playing. We'll just, kind of
No, I'm gonna
roll how
role play
things are going.
every moment of it.
Well, no, I want to
Moment,
pinch.
Kevin.
I want to pinch his nipple. He seemed to like that last time. Uh, um, um, all right. So when you get a moment, let's roll your 3 for the next day.
All right. It is a 82, an 89, and a 17.
Filled with nervous energy. You wake well before dawn.
Great.
You have a couple of really significant dreams, vivid dreams that you can recall.
Mm.
Um, and they're kind of filled with sort of a mixture of anxiety and happiness because of their new situation. Clearly,
Yeah.
things like Brise arrives at this castle filled with goblins, and it's horrible, and he hates it, and things like that. And you're trying to make him stay, and
Right.
but you're still very, sort of very weirdly bittersweet because you're still very happy to see him, of course. And then others where you're returning, after weeks of being away from him, from exploring something toward one of your goals, and he's angry at you for leaving, and the goblins are mocking you because for
Because
those
they're
of you
goblins.
right, and goblins, yeah, and goblins in this society, in this world, mocking is giving you the business, giving you shit is a way of measuring your mettle. And so if you don't give shit back to them, then they consider you weak, both intellectually and just courage wise. Um, so, um, so you're jittery and kind of happy and so on. Breakfast is not even yet in the air, so to speak. But um, what do you have planned for today? What are you trying to get accomplished today?
Well, obviously, let's immediately, as soon as I can, send a note to Burra about
Right.
success on this front. So I'm pretty much ready to leave. I know I said I was going to meet Crowlem on the 14th, so I might. So I guess I need to in the note I'm going to send to Adabir. Do I tell him that I can leave immediately, or do I say, hey, the 14th, would be a good time?
Yeah, I mean that's
I
like
can't communicate with Crowlem. That's the thing. He can find me, kind of.
right.
It'll be hard for him. I
Right.
mean, yeah. Do I really care? Like, will it? I don't know.
Yeah, how would you? It's a good question. I don't know that there isn't. I don't know of an. I can't think of an answer to that. Um,
The so the way the pros and cons. The con is that he's going to have to catch up, and I might lose whatever information he might have discovered. But it can't be anything that crucial, considering that. Um. Oh, what if I leave a note in the stables at the Tea and Loaf?
is that where you're planning on meeting next?
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to
Oh,
plan to meet with him on 414. So I'll just like send a note to Adabir saying I'm ready to leave as soon as as soon as possible. Well, actually, wait. Well, I need to ask Aldra first, right? Because if he's not ready to go, then
well, it doesn't matter. What he needs is the information to get there. You don't have to travel
true. I don't have
with
to
him,
go with him. Yeah,
and so
yeah.
and
Fair.
so I mean, obviously, until very late in this project to find Crowlem's prison, Adabir is going to be homebound, working on preparations for um, for when you do discover the mountain, right? So he's going to be homebound all the time,
Right. Right.
and they're just going to tell the servants, and this place may have full on guards. I mean, who knows? You may have rooms. You may have rooms in a castle. We don't really know what the setup's going to be, but they will be given his name and told that he's going to be, he has a position in the household, either that of the goblin noblewoman or that of Adabir himself.
Right.
And so he doesn't. He just needs to know what name to ask for, what
Right.
city it's near, that kind of thing.
Right. So
Um,
yeah, in that case, then there's nothing stopping me from going.
Past sending that note, and then you've got to post. Hell, you could carve, a note for Crowlem
Yeah.
in the stables tonight.
Right. Right.
What are you doing up there? Nothing. Just graffiti.
I'm just carving graffiti. Okay. Sure.
There's this bar and grill in Macon, Georgia, and Karen and I love it. And I was there visiting friends without her, and it's got all this graffiti on like the walls and like the ceilings above the booth.
Yeah.
are kind of low because there's a second floor of booths up there. And so it's all over the place. I mean, it's all this somebody loves somebody, somebody was here, sort of classic stuff. And I said, shit, we love this place. Why not do it? And so, so I wrote, I graffitied the place and took a picture and sent it to Karen. So, so now you do that. Crallum loves Fairleg. No, not that, but something else. Something else. God damn it.
Something else. So we will do that at some point.
Yeah, so you got to leave the note for Crallum and then pass the note to Adabir. And then I don't know what the rest of your day will
Well,
look like.
one other thing then is Prethnot. I do like, she's really powerful, and it would be good to keep her as an ally. Before that, I should also tell Lashwin that I'm leaving town, because I last told her that I'll be at the Tea and Loaf, right?
Yes.
And I still want, again, that would be nice to have open. If something goes south, just teleport to her place and say, we need to go, or you need to take me,
Oh, interesting. Well, that begs the question then, because, for people who don't know, you can't teleport to a place unless you can see it or unless you've been there before and can remember it clearly.
I know, and she lives nearby Adabir's place.
Right. So I was wondering, are you going to go and scout that out as your thought today?
No, well, my thought is I can go to Adabir's if I ever need and find her place. Well, what I'm concerned about is if she, hey, I need something, or something is, if she thinks of something as part of the plan and wants to ask me about it, she's going to have no way to reach me.
So
unless I just teleport to the Tea and Loaf, and then
keep
the logistics of this are really confusing.
It is weird. Well,
I've been in the city so long, I've made so many like contacts. It's
right. And sometimes you just have to let it go for simplicity's sake. You know that you can. I mean, who knows how far away it is though from Nargaz to the Woolen Way, that neighborhood.
Be more than what's teleport range again? I always forget. I know I shouldn't metagame, but it could, maybe we could do a roll to see if I know roughly the distance.
Oh, here it is. That was it right there.
There's teleport here.
Well, the thing is, so you would know it by days of travel. You wouldn't know it by miles. And we use miles just because we would need to measure it outside of game.
Right. But there I feel like there should be a mechanic like for knowing if I could make it, if I roughly knew the distance in terms of days. You know what I mean? Like, I've teleported enough times to feel like I would be able to estimate it, or at least feel comfortable with it.
Well, here's what I did. Like, for instance, the difference in travel by days and the difference in travel by teleport. So I was curious about, having grown up in flat areas my whole life, I'm not familiar with to what extent do curvy roads really add to your travel, right? Yeah. So what I did was I thought, what I'll do is I'll go to Google Maps and I'll go to the Rockies and I will measure the linear distance, right, as the crow flies distance. And then I will do directions from this town to this town. Mm-hmm. And what my research showed doing 10 or 12 towns in the Rocky Mountains, I also did the Swiss Alps, is that it adds 40 to 70%.
Oh my gosh.
To your distance.
Yeah.
And so you wouldn't have done that measurement, right?
Right, of course.
Not yet. Not until you find the magic item that's called Google Earth. Unfortunately, it's the size of the Earth. So it's really hard to use. There's no bag of holding to put that baby in.
The Earth is a magic item.
That's good. Karandrin is a magic item in and of itself. And it has a limitless supply of adventure. And that's what you do with it. Adventure and I hope wonder. That's the other thing I hope to get out of this.
I'm wondering how far I can teleport, Kevin.
Well, no one cares now that you've upset me. So, what are you at? You're about 140 miles. As
50 miles plus 10 miles of level.
Oh, is that what we said? Oh, I'm sorry. I have old information.
I would be at like 90. I mean, 140 is fine, but.
Oh yeah, I bet it's fine. Well, so 100 miles then.
Yeah.
So there you go. So.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to say how many days of travel that is. I see what you mean, especially because there are a lot of mountains in Nargos.
Yeah, Nargos is almost entirely mountains, with the exception of the western side where you grew up, which that's where you get those really high foothills and things like that.
Right.
Um,
Uh, I mean, regardless, it still warrants me just sending word to Lashwind that I'm going to be traveling.
yes.
But whether I can make it back to her place at the blink of an eye or not is don't know that.
Yeah. And that's going to be interesting. Like, it's one of the things about like using teleport, like we talked about, using teleport in between two places. As you get further away, and you haven't memorized places in between, you can't even hop there.
Right.
And so that's a difficulty. But honestly, if you decide to take the option of just forsaking all of Karandrin, the continent, and leaving everything you know and going to a new world, if you have to take a carriage ride to do that, you're going to take a carriage ride to do that, right?
Right.
I mean, if it's last minute, okay, that's a different thing, and I don't know what to tell you about that.
Right, and maybe there's no way to do that.
Right.
There's no such contingency plan that could be done. So regardless, I will draft a note for Adabir, draft a note for Lashwind. I guess I can tell, whoever is sending the note,
right.
Just ask at this house and then find the person.
Yeah, that's how they would operate anyway, because they won't.
I'll give them a few extra copper because that's more. Of a
it's quite a distance, so I don't know. You might go for 10 or 12 or something, and
yeah. I'll give them 13.
Oh my God! And that's the you send him with bad luck, and that's what gets him killed. Way to go! So word sent to Lashwind that you might be going soon, but you'll be, if the offer still stands, you'll certainly be
right.
You'll certainly come and see her again, and you'll offer her the red crossbow of uber power. That's crazy, uber powerful. And
send a note to Burra.
Or really, to Adabir via Burra.
Oh, right. I know who Burra is. So
And of course, all of his children are little burritos. They're really small.
But I was going to say they're all like donkeys.
That's funny.
Where's Burro Mule? I can't remember. Whatever.
Oh, interesting. I can see on Restream. I can see how many people are watching through YouTube and how many people are watching through Crack Palantir.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Lost some people over the break, which is fine. People need to get back to their
real lives.
That's done. So the other thing I want to do then is I still want to stay on good terms with Prethnot because she's just a powerful portal master, and it doesn't matter which city she's in because she could apparently be anywhere. So I'm wondering what I can do in these last maybe few days I have in Convergence to further her research. So Olden was kind of a dead end, unfortunately, because
there are more books to read there.
Right. Like, so I guess that I'll ask you that then. In the time that I researched, what chunk of the library did I explore? Do you think?
You sort of scouted for books. There are probably a dozen books that might contain information, and you skimmed 3 of them. So there's still some work to be done there.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, that might be my best bet is today, spending the day at least partly in his library.
Right.
Let me think. Yeah, we could do that. And then, I can always teleport back to the Tea and Loaf and see if there's any news left for me from Adabir or someone else. So why don't we have breakfast here? Hang out until it's a reasonable hour, and then make my way to Olden's. Kind of.
Well, most of these places are, up at dawn kind of places. So you could breakfast and then just head out immediately if you wished.
Yeah, even better.
Um, you know, so that would be fine. I don't know. Is there anybody you need to leave word for? Just
Wait, what do you mean? As in?
Leave a note for them here, like
no.
Aldrich comes back, that sort of thing. I mean,
I don't think so. I mean, they'll report here. Yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll just assume that you told Aldrich's sister, something to the effect of you'll be in touch with more details and a timeline and things like that. And so we probably should have covered that. But so look, we magically did.
Magic. See, Karandrin is a magic item.
It is. It's one giant magic item.
Big fat magic item.
Well,
another thing that might. Well, I don't know. If the Trinidas, I might speak with them today because it's every other day. And I mean,
right. I had
the day before yesterday was kind of extraordinary, but I wouldn't see why we would quit that.
Right.
I was actually half expecting, I was wondering if they would show up yesterday, but they didn't. So,
right. Okay. I was looking at the various agents.
No, yeah. Okay.
Couple of hours, to the north of town, sort of northwest, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Again, in the early morning, you have, you reach sort of, I guess, mid-morning, and going down the long drive, there are, again, poor families. Many of them are sitting, eating. The children are eating on the ground. What their parents are passing them, and they're plucking fruit. You see some though are actually working, like killing dead vines and things like this, and they're cutting dead limbs off of fruit trees,
Photo about Olden, by the way. Little caption.
Oh, thank you, sir. Olden's kind of a nut job.
He really is.
I guess I could edit this. I should edit it down.
Eccentric is not strong enough of a word.
Well, I miss things like, let me do this. Let me do things like this. There. There we go. Something like that. The children call to their parents when they see you round the bend to the thing.
I'm still in my nice clothes, by the way. And
yeah.
Just took my dagger. Yeah.
And they now the family sort of all come towards you, and they're looking at each other and talking and so on.
Gave them money last time.
And so
I'll just pass.
Make sure your coins jingle loudly. I'm so wealthy.
These coins are so heavy in my bag.
I'm gonna tell this story on my nephew. He was when he was little. My little nephew Josh, not Josh who plays, but he was a very sensitive little kid, like very compassionate. And so whenever I go down to visit his family for Christmas, I would tell him, "Hey, it's Christmas time. Come on, Josh, we have to go around town and eat food in front of the homeless people." just eat a Big Mac right in front of them. And he would get so upset. He would go tell on me on his mom. No, Uncle Kevin wants to eat food for the poor kids. And I'm like, I'm kidding, Josh, almost. Okay, I'm kidding. And so,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
he was such a,
Scarred him for life. He's gonna
yeah.
like my greedy Uncle Kevin.
That's right.
Well, actually, what's funny is like I don't know if some kids it might motivate them to be even more, compassionate.
Right. It's, man, I got
That
offset
idea.
by uncle's evil.
Right,
Son
right.
of a bitch. Um, so, some of the parents, some of the adults, sort of stand back and kind of watch you. They're glancing at each other. Some of the mothers do come forward and with their hand out and looking, and just please, madam, and this kind of thing. And the kids, of course, kids don't give a shit, and they're all up in your business, and they're like, do you have sweets? You're like, you're eating fruit. What kind of sweets do you need?
Yeah, how many mothers are there? I don't want to,
Well, you mean begging or that you see here?
Oh yeah, how many are begging? Yeah.
3 begging.
Yeah, I'll just I'll take out a
1 gold and just throw it down the
no,
lane.
not gonna do that.
Fight over it, you bastards.
So I was trying to remember. So I give each of them a bronze. That would be pretty nice, right? That would be like kind of a meal.
Yeah, it's several. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, basically, well, out in the country, it's even cheaper to eat. So usually that'd be about 5 meals.
Yeah. I'll just give them each 1 bronze. It's like here, use it wisely.
And for the kids, anything?
No. Crazy kids, probably dirty.
Each of them get a gold.
Your mother. Give a bronze to the mom, and then here kids and give them like 3 gold.
So, yeah, I'll go in and buy a horse, and family.
2 drugs.
Stay in school, kids. Stay in the lane, kids. So the other mothers seeing you give, they kind of come forward, but they're too proud to.
I'm out of there.
Oh, it's hilarious.
I know how this goes.
Too proud.
I'm a giving person, but I've got business to do. So
that's right.
If they need it next time, then they can come up. So
right.
Got to take a firm stance there.
So you pass through the small throng there, and the kids are all disappointed. Oh, and you go through, and it is simply just a freaking lovely estate. That's something I started using the database for that I hadn't thought about. Since I have to be consistent with the living conditions of people, it's like, I need to sort of leave a description here, in the database as to like what their house looks like.
Right.
So
it would not change every time I visit, would it?
Right.
Or he is pretty eccentric. Today he's painted everything blue.
That's right. I don't know if you're a fan of American Dad, but there's a great one where they use Roger to replace the dictator of this country.
Roger's the main.
He's the alien. He's the alien.
Oh, okay.
And Roger of course, is a terrible dictator. And he has them paint the whole island, and it's just awful. So,
when you say terrible, you mean he's terrific. He's terrific.
That's right. Filled with terror.
All right. Yeah.
You approach again. There's workers see you coming, and they go to the door well ahead of you, and it's almost a system that is clearly predicated upon protecting people from Olden.
Right.
It's
involving him as little as possible.
Right, and so they the head of household, the sort of our mistress of the house, who's a servant. She comes and is like, "Oh, you've returned," and um, she's like, we might need a moment or two. He's in the house today, um, and so but we could keep you in the kitchen for a bit if that's all right. Get you
Yeah,
food and drink if you're so inclined.
yeah, I could go for a drink if it's not too long. That's okay.
Uh,
Something I thought about, if I don't find anything out in the library, I mean, it's Olden the one who's collecting all the books. What if he has the knowledge, of this thing? Like, it's going to be hard
it's
to
it's
talk to him.
true. No, I mean it's absolutely true. And so I don't know. You could talk to them at least about leaving a note, you know,
True. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that you don't have to deal with him, and he didn't have to deal with you, and maybe um, maybe you could even write a note while you're here and act
Yeah.
like it. Just ask them to pretend like it came, you know,
Good
by
idea.
messenger,
Right.
and then um, that might be an approach to use there. So, but so you wait in the kitchen for a bit, and people continually check on you and ask um, if you need anything and so on.
I
They're
need to get
clearly,
into the library.
I know.
Depending how long it takes, I'm going to start pacing and get a little bit anxious. Yeah.
You're gonna start just foregoing all the niceties. You're just gonna memorize the library and teleport in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, um,
Honestly, just find a dark corner and then just.
yeah. So the so it's not too long. It's 20 minutes or so. You sort of pass the time with girls asking you about fashion in the cities. Really, a lot of compliments about your appearance. They are just they're just very touched by your beauty and
Would it be an interesting what would it be? It's like, oh yes, my my the family who made it, I'm close to their son.
oh,
Or is that like womanly conversation?
oh, sure, yeah. I mean,
I know his son, and he's quite handsome.
that's right. I'm tapping that. You can just say that outright. That's an ancient. Yeah, that's an ancient expression also that we've.
Vibing and tapping.
That's right. And so yeah, they usher you quickly in, and they get you there, and um, you find the books that you've gone through sort of relatively undisturbed. They've been sort of tidied, the stacks made neat and stuff like that, but they've been left out on the table.
Yeah.
Um, and do you want to ask about leaving the note now? Or are you going to wait?
Yeah, I'll ask now. It can't hurt just to you know, tell them. And, he has quite an expansive library, but is it possible I could ask him directly? Perhaps if a note were to have come in from somewhere, inquiring about certain botanical inquiries.
Um, um, the woman is like, it can't do any harm, but I've rarely seen him respond to such requests. Um, so
Just say it's from Gavril.
that's right.
Forge.
That's fortunate. So the I don't know if I told you,
Yeah.
I did this magic item in the game called a sky quill,
Yeah, you've told me about
where you can write a message in the sky in clouds.
Yeah.
It's a great way to I am directly below this message. Come find me, dummy. Like you get separated from your party and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right.
Great way to do omens for the next village.
Yeah.
The seer will be a beautiful human woman. Um,
Sacrifice the youngest woman in the village.
exactly.
And of course, probably like 10 villages just saw that.
Right.
A lot of sacrifices.
Yeah, what are you, a pharaoh? Um, so so yeah, so you write a message. Why don't you write out your sort of your questions, and then they'll pass it to him today, and they'll try to get answers.
Yeah, I can do
Um,
that.
and I'm wondering because it's I know it's close to when you need to close.
Yeah, I'm thinking because this is another just kind of research day. We can do that out of session.
Right, and we'll
Although, do have a
yeah.
miracle roll to spend.
Oh, you do have a miracle roll.
Be the perfect time. I just, in the first 30 minutes, I pull a book off the shelf, open up to a random page, and that is The Runner's Vine, where to find it, and its growth.
A lot of information on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
55. Okay.
That is not it. It's the wrong double. That's the wrong double numbers right there, buddy.
Double numbers. All right. Well, we'll just call it here and say that I do some research out of session, and I'll in whatever notes, whatever questions I formulate.
Right. We'll take care of that. So, well, there you go. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode, another session of Karandrin role playing. Completely sandbox, completely organic, and thanks to Max for continuing to endure my game mastering. We appreciate that. And so we're gonna close. We finally got this card done for our closing, and so you can follow Max's YouTube channel involving the use of music and arrangements in video game OSTs. And I didn't know what OSTs are, so explain that to me. What are OSTs?
OST is original soundtrack. It's any.
I got you. Okay.
You could use soundtrack works too, but then that's kind of confusing because some games do, use, pop music or music
Right.
from other sources.
Right. So I know Quinn might be interested in your channel where you break that down. Quinn's a big music guy. But of course, as always, you can like and follow and stuff.
Yeah.
Max, what do you want to say to these nice people?
And so, well, I want to say to all the people that left after the break is that you have a good night. The people who stayed have a great night.
That's right.
Glad you stuck around. This is a fun session. Really like the role playing, the kind of romance aspects. It was cute. It was kind of fun, kind of interesting. Yeah, thank you very much for coming out again. And hopefully you keep following. We're at 4 sessions now. So almost a whole month of role playing.
That's right. That's right. It's yeah, thank you to everybody. And we're going to be we're going to keep going every week. So next Tuesday we're going to do a makeup session with Ganry and get his episode 4 in the can. As always, like, subscribe, follow, and if you feel like throwing us some bucks, we definitely appreciate it to fix my poor head and to help us buy better equipment and so on. You can go to the donor box link right there and at least read the funny jokes, if not actually donate. But all of you have been great. I've enjoyed the drum rolls. I've enjoyed it all. And we will absolutely catch you next week, barring a head disaster on my part, because, Max is perfect. He's fantastic. So bye, everyone, and thank you. And we'll see you next time. So we'll see you soon.